We discuss history in the making as the first Latina judge in Salem County takes office, and we highlight two Latino trailblazers, former New Jersey Assemblyman Angel Fuentes and former Pittsgrove Mayor Ralph Padilla. It's all here on this week's Latino Motion. Join us.
Choose quality, value, distinction. Choose Stockton.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation, and Stockton University. This edition of Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is brought to you by the HD Studios at the campus of Stockton University. Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, healthcare you can believe in. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas. Welcome to Latino Motion, a weekly interview show highlighting issues impacting New Jersey's Latino community while advancing understanding of Latino cultural heritage and contributions to our society. And here is your host, Bert Lopez.
Buenos dias, and thank you for joining us here on Latino Motion. This past month was a joyous occasion and a very proud moment for many Latinos here in South Jersey as we witness history in the making with the appointment of Sandra Lopez as the first Superior Court judge in Salem County. Let's listen in to my colleague, Mike Franco, as he covers this for SNJ News.
History in the Salem County Courthouse on Thursday as Sandra Lopez swears in as a New Jersey Superior Court judge. A standing room only crowd as Lopez's family, friends, and colleagues attend the ceremony. Lopez, the former ombudsman for the Superior Court of New Jersey, Vicinage 15, which covers Salem, Cumberland, and Gloucester counties.
I cannot promise you I'll always make the right decision, but that I will always do the right thing. I do pledge, however, to always try my best to humbly serve as the first Hispanic female Superior Court judge in Vicinage 15.
I am thrilled to be here today. I am very happy for your family to be here to witness this. This is history in the making. And what else it is, it's making our bench even stronger.
Congratulations on your appointment to the bench, and best of luck in your quest to be the best judge that you can be.
Lopez is assigned to the Superior Court Family Division. She replaces David Krell, who died back in 2013. For SNJ Today, I'm Mike Frankel.
Joining me are two Latino trailblazers, former New Jersey Assemblyman Angel Fuentes and former Mayor of Pittsgrove Township, Ralph Padilla. Welcome, gentlemen, to Latino Motion.
Thank you for having us.
We just saw a little bit of the coverage of the appointment and swearing in of Judge Sandra Lopez, a very proud moment for many of us. And Ralph, I know this is your turf, Salem County, and you had a big hand in making this happen. Tell me about your reaction, how you felt at this very proud moment.
Well, it was a great day, not just for Salem County, but throughout the state of New Jersey. It was, again, a great day based on the fact that we had a very, very qualified attorney who worked for the New Jersey Administrative Office of the Courts, whose name had been presented for consideration, and after a very lengthy and thorough process, eventually led to her testifying in front of the New Jersey State Senate Judiciary Committee. She was approved unanimously and then through the full New Jersey Senate. And as a result of that, she became the first Hispanic female in Salem County to ever be appointed to a Superior Court judge, and the first female Hispanic in our vicinage, which encompasses Cumberland, Gloucester, and Salem County. So it was a great day for the entire community.
And Angel, I know you were there also to witness this event and the swearing in. Tell me a little bit about your reaction, your thoughts about having the first Latina.
Absolutely, yeah. In a state of 1.6 million Hispanics, I was very proud. I do have to mention, the efforts of Ralph Padilla, but also the Senate President, Steve Serini, a man who believes in diversity and inclusion. This is not the first Hispanic judge that he sort of went out of his way to support in South Jersey. So just to have Sandra, it's really a reflection of the growing Latino base in New Jersey. And she was very articulate, very intelligent. To have her family there and all the judges from South Jersey, it brought some tears, to know that, wow, we have a young person that I know, and even Ralph, I mentioned this to Ralph, that she could be there for a good 25 years.
The incredible thing, she didn't shy away from the fact that she was a Latina. I mean, she praised her family. She talked about her roots. Tell me a little bit, Ralph, why it's so important to have a Latino judge? Obviously you mentioned the fact that she was very well qualified, and that's key. But why it's so important to have a Latino in that role?
Well, I think it's important when we look at the judicial system, not necessarily just in the state, but throughout our nation. I think it's important that it's reflective of the community that we serve. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, that Latinos in this state comprise 1 out of every 5 people in the community. And I think it's very empowering when you have underrepresented groups that are able to ascend to those positions, because quite often when you look at a lot of the diversity issues that we deal with as a nation, some of the first things that come up is the need for diversity in positions such as this.
Mm-hmm. And we're talking about Salem County, which there's not a lot of Latinos, but obviously we have someone that was very well qualified who happens to be Latina to assume that role. Tell me a little bit about when you look at your role with the state, looking for these opportunities. Why is it so critical to look for those type of opportunities for other Latinos?
Sure, I would hope that we would have people like Ralph, being our voice when it comes to the Hispanic community throughout the state for other positions, not just when it comes to the judiciary, or even for judging for that matter. But I think we need to resonate and let people know that we need Latinos in the Superior Court in South Jersey. We have a couple, counties. For example, like in Camden County, we're sort of lacking right now of having Hispanic judges. And then you could just imagine the number of Hispanics, not just in Kansas City, but throughout Camden County. So same thing with Burlington County, Gloucester County. Now, to have Sandra there, it means a lot. And I hope that, that message would resonate with the governor as well as with the Senate. To understand, just like Steve Sweeney didn't hesitate to say, no, we'll support her. And he did, And, he didn't know much about Sandra, but Ralph, who has a good relationship, with Sandra, and then networking with other folks in the community to say, she's qualified, she should be a judge. And, all that effort paid off.
And this is something that typically doesn't happen down in South Jersey. A lot of this,
that's correct,
being the first Latino, it happens up in North Jersey, where there is a bigger Latino population, but we're starting to see some ingrowth here. And obviously, Ralph, with you being the first mayor appointed or elected over in Pittsgrove Township, we're showing some signs of improvement here in Southern Jersey in terms of having Latino representation.
Yeah, yes. Again, as a community, I think we've accomplished a lot as a Hispanic community, but we have a long way to go. But to expound on what Assemblyman Fuentes had stated, I think the most important thing is identifying, where there's a need, where there's an underrepresented group. In this case, it happened to be Hispanic. But I think the first litmus test is, are they qualified people? And then, especially in the process that involves a political process, is having that support and someone that truly believes in diversity, in our case with the Senate President, Steve Sweeney, and with the governor of the state, who also nominated her for this position. So again, I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think it's the start of many more great things to come.
And we hope to continue this trend. I know that each one of you have stepped down from your roles, and you have new roles that I really want to talk about. So we're going to take a quick break and want to talk individually I'll stutter a little bit here, individually with each one of you, to make sure that we learn a little more about your new roles and some of the things that are happening in your communities right now. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. Returning now is a man that has been a first in a number of roles as a Latino, including the first mayor of Pittsgrove Township in Salem County. Ralph, it's nice to have you back. And once again here, we just finished discussing a very important first and a big milestone with the first Latina judge in Salem County, and obviously you have led the way as a first in a number of roles. Tell me a little bit about some of those first roles you've had as a Latino.
Well, first, thanks for having me, Bert. I often tell people I've been blessed in life. I'm the son of two Puerto Rican immigrants, and they taught us at a very early age in this country, no one owes you anything. Right. You have to work hard and follow your dreams. But I was in law enforcement for 25 years and did a lot of neat work. And I eventually became the chief of the Salem County Prosecutor's Office. With that appointment, I was the first Latino in the state of New Jersey to ever hold that position. And then I transitioned out. I was in the private sector, and then I call it a calling. There was a nonprofit organization, PRAC of Southern New Jersey, which is a great organization, the Puerto Rican Action Committee of Southern New Jersey, that does work throughout Southern New Jersey. And I accepted the challenge of going there and taking that organization to the next level. And we're doing a lot of great things with that organization. And I also am the chairman of the board of the Memorial Hospital of Salem County, because I truly believe that we need to spend more time and more focus on community health.
Also a first, because that's the first Latino to serve in that capacity as well.
Yes, it was very humbling.
And tell me a little bit about your role as the mayor of Pittsgrove Township. Obviously, you would be the first mayor in the township as well.
Yes, the community, I often say, my family, my wife and I, and my son, we moved there, nearly a quarter century ago. We didn't know anyone, we weren't related to anyone, and it was a community that accepted us as family. And I had the pleasure of coaching young men and women there in sports and attending all the events that parents do, and they were very supportive of my family. And when I had the opportunity to serve my community, I was able to do that. And it was, again, it was just one of those life experiences that when we ran a campaign, it was it was one of these grassroots campaigns. My wife was the driver. My daughter, who was 12 at the time, knocked on about 3,000 doors with me. My college-age son, they drove around and passed out papers, and my oldest son, who's a political science major, was the campaign manager. So,
wow, nice.
So it was a great family experience.
Oh, and it certainly, I know you did some great things there and continue to do some great things in the community. Let's talk a little bit about your role as CEO of PRAC of Southern New Jersey. You mentioned a very important organization. I think you've done some great improvements to the organization to continue the growth of the organization. Tell me a little bit about some of the services and roles that they provide for the community.
Well, first of all, we provide services to the entire community, not just the Hispanic community. We serve Cape, Atlantic, and Salem counties. We provide everything from case management services to employment services to out-of-school youth programs. But the main focus is the two groups that are most at risk in our community, obviously our seniors and our youth. I truly believe that our most precious commodity in life is our youth, and we're spending a lot of time and resources to ensuring that we allow them to see different career opportunities, navigate them through the educational system. But the other piece to the puzzle that I think is very critical, and I have a very supportive board of directors, is that we now have started an economic housing program, economic development housing program. And really what that does is we're looking at communities where houses currently stand that are boarded up. Well, we're going to rehabilitate them. And
Right.
we're going to identify people that are going to become first-time home buyers. Because when you look at how families get to the next level and are able to achieve the American dream, home ownership is so crucial. And when you look at turning a community around, we have to do that one street, one block at a time. And this program, we're very, very excited about it. And we're looking at other larger projects with PRAC, looking at the need for more health care in certain parts of the community throughout southern New Jersey.
Currently, this housing development that you're doing is currently in Salem County?
Currently in Salem County, and we also just started a project in Woodbine in Cape May County.
And I know you're wrapping up some services in Atlantic City as well with through the Red Cross. You also had a contract there.
Correct. Yeah, and we've now, since we're have a Cape Atlantic regional office, which will now be operating out of Woodbine. So we're doing a lot of great things down in the Cape Atlantic area, but in Salem County, that is our where we started back in 1971, and we continue on doing the right thing.
I know you wear another hat as the chairman of the board of Salem County Memorial Hospital. Tell me a little bit about the venture that you're now currently doing with another hospital.
Well, again, Salem County is a unique county. It's rural in nature with two urban areas. What we've done is that there was an alliance done with Cooper Hospital, Cooper Healthcare, and they currently provide services in our ER and our hospice, and it's a great alliance that we have there. But more importantly, it's just another building block of providing better health care for the residents of Salem County and the surrounding areas. So we're very excited about it.
Again, another area that's important to have a Latino representation. And what advice do you give to other Latinos who want to get involved in the community, such as yourself, particularly in those type of roles?
Well, and I know sometimes we want to talk strictly about Latinos. I think it's very important, whether we're looking at government, whether we're looking at healthcare, or whether we're looking at the private sector, really for those of us that have been blessed in life with health and family and some success, really look at where we can make our mark, where we have underrepresented groups. And I've been blessed and my family's very supportive. And when it comes to the Hispanic community, I think what we have to remind people that now we have, many of us are second generation here, and many of us might be more educated than the first generation that first ventured to this country. And we have to follow the role of others that have come here before us. And that is, the motto of paying it forward. And that is, looking at opportunities, identifying people that will be the next leaders of not just the Hispanic community, but of our communities.
And I know you've been a great role model and certainly led the way for that. Thank you, Ralph, for joining us and sharing this information. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with my next guest right here on Latino Motion.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. I have the pleasure of continuing my discussion with former Assemblyman Angel Fuentes and discuss his career and his new role. Angel, welcome back to Latino Motion, and I know
Thank you for having me.
You've served very well in the 5th legislative district as an assemblyman for a number of years, and you recently stepped down to take a new role as the deputy clerk of Camden County. Tell me a little bit about your decision to make this move.
Sure. I've been as a state assembly for almost 6 years, and I feel that I've accomplished what I needed to do for the 5th District, and particularly Camden City. In the 5th District, I represented 19 municipalities in Camden County as well as in Gloucester County. So with the issue of public safety in Camden City, we were always like the number 1 or number 2, when it comes to the nation, crime that is. And even poverty, we were really ranked number 3, 4 in the nation. It wasn't good for the city. Camden was once an economic power engine, and we lost that in the 60s and the 70s. So I feel good that, 1, we introduced some good legislation dealing with public safety. 2, I was the primary sponsor of Urban Hope Act because we needed to do something with the school district in Camden. And then 3rd, we have introduced some good legislations, the Economic Opportunity Act. So dealing with public safety, education, and bringing jobs, companies to the city of Camden, I feel like I've done my job. It's not just in Camden City per se, it's really throughout the region that's gonna benefit, the entire 5th District.
And we have seen some major improvements and certainly some major expansions into Camden County with some new additions coming on, and certainly the economic boom that's taking place there.
And that's
is-
the goal.
is-
Yeah,
is really
that's really-
unprecedented, and it's good for South Jersey. You
Abs-
mentioned it's not just Camden, but we really need this for South Jersey.
Absolutely. You got the 76ers coming in, the headquarters and the training facility is under construction. Holtec, it's under construction. Subaru, they just got the land. These are all because of the Economic Opportunity Act. They're getting, huge tax credits, but at the end of the day, it's about jobs. And so our folks in Camden and its region, need jobs. And I feel good and no regrets at all when I requested, for my colleagues in the assembly, the resignation to undertake a new position with the Camden County Clerk's Office.
Let's talk a little bit about that position. What exactly is the deputy clerk? What exactly is the role of the deputy clerk?
Within our office, we have about 22 employees, and so we deal with all the deeds and mortgages throughout Camden County, passports, notaries, but also I think it's very critical, and I feel blessed, is the election. Anyone running for public offices, we have to make sure that they have the petitions. We have to swear them in, and then we have dealing with voter registration, dealing with vote by mail, which that's a job that I'm undertaking. We work closely with the superintendent of elections, the board of elections, for 37 municipalities. For example, this last election and the primaries in Camden County, we had about 19,000 people who came out and voted. Out of that 19,000, close to 10,000 vote by mail. So I think just having me, as deputy clerk, I can really push, for vote by mail, and that's and I've been, coming up with some projects, sort of thinking out of a box, and I have a database of volunteers, people that really want to go out and then encourage and educate folks about vote by mail.
That is great, and certainly anyone that could remember the presidential election back in Florida,
That's
the
right.
key roles that the clerk's office played in deciding the presidential elections.
Absolutely.
So it is a very important role for sure.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about you're also the president of the New Jersey Hispanic Leadership Association. I'm a proud board member.
Thank you.
Just recently got on board, and thank you for that. Tell me a little bit about that organization and also the big event that you have coming.
Sure, absolutely. A good 5 years ago, a group of us got together and we wanted to sort of empower the Hispanic community, not just in South Jersey, but throughout the state of New Jersey. As I stated earlier, close to 1.6 million Hispanics in the state of New Jersey. And that was back in 2000. So I'm sure we have grown, and I dare say close to 2 million. And then not to mention the undocumented, that we have close to 500,000 in New Jersey. So we want to make sure that our folks can get connected. We want to really empower high school students, college students, professionals, people from the civic grassroots, level, faith-based business leaders, even governmental, the elected officials, to interact with one another.
Now,
That was the goal.
this event is taking place.
It's going to take place on Saturday, October the 24th, at Rowan University in Glassboro. And we'll start off with a symposium, and then with workshops, and a cultural celebration, and then at the end with a nice gala. So we actually awarded close to $15,000 worth of scholarship to college students, and also we recognized 13 individuals throughout the state.
And you're going to do that again this year, so
Absolutely.
you're recognizing those scholarships and providing those
Absolutely.
scholarships to
Yes,
students.
yes.
Why is it important? I know that I've been involved as a committee member for a while with this organization, and you always stress the idea of getting the youth involved, getting the professionals to network together. Why is it so important as Latinos to be able to do that?
Sure. The reality is that they're our future, and we continue to grow in the state of New Jersey, and of course, throughout the nation as well. We want to make sure that we provide the tools for college students, even grassroots leaders, people from the neighborhood, from the county level, even from the state level. But more so is really to network, to learn what's happening, in Atlantic City, and as well as what's happening in Newark, what's happening in Jersey City, what's happening, in Kansas City. Latinos from all walks of life, not just Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, Mexicans. We want everyone to come together as one, and to understand the issues affecting them. It could be as something, dropout rate affecting the Hispanic community, even to unemployment.
Now, I know that every year you have some pretty impressive speakers, and we also know that the last few years the gala has been sold out. So we're going to put up the website because you want people to register as early as possible. Although it's in October, time flies pretty quick. You want to get those registrations in.
They should take advantage now because they get that 10% discount for all the workshops, symposium, including continental breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Music at the end, that's part of our culture. And our guest, a keynote speaker, is Miki Ibarra, who worked with President Clinton for 6 years in the White House. So he's a renowned Hispanic leader in this country. And just to have him in our backyard, to have him at Rowan University on the 24th of October, it's a blessing.
So we expect to have a good turnout and certainly, hopefully, another sellout as far as the gala. And we always have plenty of room for people to participate during the event, which comprises of a number of workshops as well.
Absolutely.
Well,
Great
Angel,
leaders.
thank you for sharing this information with our audience, and we'll look forward to that event. Thank you for joining us at home once again here on Latino Motion.
Choose quality, value, distinction. Choose Stockton.
Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, healthcare you can believe in. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas.